The smile.
And still undefeated, Gervonta Tank Davis.
What'd you think, man?
No. No? I think it was a great fight. I think it was a great fight.
The fight we had all been waiting for finally happened, and as expected, Tank Davis secured another victory. He defeated Lamont Roach just as he has done to many before him. Once again, an opponent talked big before the fight, claiming he had what it took to knock out Tank. But as soon as they stepped into the ring, reality hit, though not as hard as Tank's punch.
I'm gonna do me regardless. I told him to leave his mom's and, the people home, and he still brought them. It's crazy, man. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad, man.
The moment Tank figured him out, the fight was as good as over. A few powerful shots later, and Roach had no answers left. As expected, the fight ended with Tank victorious, untouched, and his undefeated record still intact. However, the post-fight discussion wasn't about Tank's performance. Surprisingly, no one seemed particularly impressed, especially the big names sitting ringside. Watching from the arena were Terrence "Bud" Crawford, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Turkey.
Tell Terrence Crawford keep his name out your mouth. You know what I mean? He talking crazy. He talking crazy. You think about that one?
Nah, it was just some, talking on some Twitter, like back and forth.
From their reactions, it was clear they weren't impressed by what they had just witnessed. Never one to hold back, Crawford summed it up in just a few words. Just another one to look good. For months, Crawford has been openly critical of Tank's choice of opponents, believing he has been playing it safe by picking fights that protect his perfect record without truly testing himself. In Crawford's eyes, Tank has been avoiding the toughest challenges, prioritizing fights that maintain his image rather than ones that would solidify his legacy. From their reactions, it was clear they weren't impressed by what they had just witnessed. Never one to hold back, Crawford summed it up in just a few words. Just another one to look good. For months, Crawford has been openly critical of Tank's choice of opponents, believing he has been playing it safe by picking fights that protect his perfect record without truly testing himself. In Crawford's eyes, Tank has been avoiding the toughest challenges, prioritizing fights that maintain his image rather than ones that would solidify his legacy. Not just any fights, but the ones the fans actually want. Turkey didn't mention names, but it didn't take long for people to connect the dots. For months, he has been in talks with Tank, pushing him to step up and take on the biggest challenges in the division. The most talked about fight? Tank versus Devin Haney. Turkey has been working tirelessly to make the biggest fights happen, and this announcement made one thing clear. Tank's next two fights won't be—
Thoughts on the fight? Thoughts on the fight, Evan?
Haney, the current undisputed champion, has been demanding this fight for a long time, believing he is the best at 135 lbs and has the skills to defeat Tank. In his eyes, the hype around Tank is just talk. He's confident he can outbox him, break him down over 12 rounds, and prove that skill beats power. Shakur, on the other hand, has been just as vocal, arguing that Tank has been protected by carefully selected opponents to avoid real challenges. But with Turkey confirming that two big fights are locked in, Shakur knows his time is coming. Now, there are no more excuses, no more tune-ups or easy fights, just the biggest threats in the division. And just when it seemed the night couldn't get more intense, Oscar De La Hoya dropped another bombshell. Tank versus Ryan Garcia 2 is happening. No official date yet, but it's set. Ryan has been pushing for a rematch ever since their first fight, believing the weight cut drained him and led to mistakes he won't repeat. Since then, he has been in the news for all the wrong reasons: social media meltdowns, legal trouble, and criticism from the boxing community. But despite it all, Ryan sees this rematch as his shot at redemption. Oscar De La Hoya wasted no time hyping up the rematch, claiming Ryan is returning to the ring with newfound energy and could be a problem for Tank, or even Devin.
Of boxing in regards to where you're at in your weight class and how you consistently are just knocking guys out. What's that feeling like when you do?
It feel like
Haney. De La Hoya has always been vocal about Ryan's talent, believing his speed and power make him a serious threat in the division. With all the chaos surrounding Ryan lately, this rematch might be his perfect chance to remind the world that he's still a top contender. But the bigger story here isn't just the individual fights, it's what this means for Tank's future. Just a few months ago, there were rumors that Tank wasn't interested in working with Turkey, wanting to stay independent, control his own business, and avoid being locked into long-term deals.
Right? No, I did not. He was eating the day before. We had a media workout. He was eating at his media workout, bro. I wasn't even eating at my media workout. You get what I'm saying? He tricked the people like, yeah, I'm draining. No, you wasn't. I just made him have to.
But now, Tank is all in, and that changes everything. Turkey isn't just another organizer or businessman in boxing. He's the one making the biggest fights happen, putting up the money, setting the deals, and ensuring the best fight the best. With Tank now working directly with Turkey, the biggest matchups in the division are no longer just possibilities, they're inevitable. Haney, Shakur, Ryan, these fights aren't just being talked about anymore. They're happening.
How I would have handled the situation. So he just threw me out there. He was hurt.
Crawford knew it. That's why he was there, watching everything unfold. He has been pushing for these fights for months, demanding that Tank step up and prove himself against the best. And now, with Turkey pulling the strings, there's no more room for excuses. Tank made a statement tonight, reminding everyone that he's still the king of the division, still has the power, and is still the one everyone is chasing. But now, the real test begins. No matter how many knockouts he racks up or how many wins he adds to his record, the only thing that truly matters now is whether he can beat the best. With Haney, Shakur, and Ryan all lined up, we're about to find out if Tank is really as untouchable as he claims to be. The thing about Tank's fights is that you always know what's coming. You just don't know when. A knockout is only a matter of time, and at the weigh-in, Tank knew it too. Same old, he told the crowd. I've got to give them what they want to see. He never said much. He never needed to. His hands always did the talking. For Roach, the real question was whether he could survive long enough to make it interesting. Could he avoid the shot that shuts the lights off? Could he shock the world and do the impossible? It was a long shot from the start, but he believed, and the people around him believed too.
For everybody to be talking shit to Gervonta, it don't be coming out good for them, my nigga. I'm just keeping it real.
He obviously is a superstar, but just because it's who he is, this don't change no program that I got going on. I'm here to win. I've been coming to win, and I think the same result will happen on December the 14th.
At the weigh-in, Roach came in right at 135 lbs, while Tank looked a little drained, weighing in at 133.8. It got people talking. Maybe Roach had an edge. Maybe the weight cut affected Tank more than usual. Roach was feeling himself, telling the crowd, "This isn't just talk, it's real." After facing off with Tank, he declared, "I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and I can't wait for you all to see it." Promoter Tom Brown pushed the same narrative. Champion versus champion, Baltimore versus DC. Who was the bigger man? He was selling the fight, making it seem closer than it really was. Roach's team felt confident too. His co-promoter, Gary Jonas, kept repeating that Roach wasn't scared. He had known Tank since they were kids, fought him twice in the amateurs. Lamont has history with Tank, and that's an advantage over guys who get intimidated, Jonas said. But here's the thing. Knowing Tank doesn't mean you can stop him. Despite all the talk and confidence, Roach was the underdog for a reason. He was stepping up in weight against a guy who had knocked out 28 of his 30 opponents. This wasn't just about skill, it was about power, and Tank had it in abundance. Roach was strong, skilled, and technically sound, but interview 12. And then there was the bet. Tank and Roach made some kind of wager after the weigh-in. Some lip readers guessed it was $2K. Others thought it was as high as $5K. Maybe Roach genuinely believed he had a chance, or maybe he just wanted to make a statement. Either way, it didn't age well. Roach carried that same confidence into every interview leading up to the fight. Sitting back on a Zoom call with Dean, he was calm and collected. I have no doubts in myself, my skills, my strength, and my will, he said. We're going to put it all together. He promised a career-defining performance, even hinting that the fight might not look how people expected. Honestly, it's going to be a real show, he claimed. The critics who doubted him, he didn't care. They'll just have to wait and see, he said. For real, for real. I couldn't care less about their worries. He spoke like a man on a mission, like a fighter who truly believed he was about to shock the world. But belief doesn't win fights. And when the bell rang, reality hit. It played out exactly as expected. Roach tried, he really did. He had his moments, but they weren't enough. Tank did what he always does, took his time, found his range, and when the moment was right, he closed the show. After the fight, Roach wasn't the same. Interview 14. The fire he once had, it was gone. Even before the fight, he was already hinting at stepping away, maybe for good.
That y'all know, son, his father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
Thank everybody that played a part in it. My team, Roberto Diaz, Gary Jonas.
On my kids, he was shaking on this thing. On my kids, he was shaking.
How you gonna say it's cap? And
It gotta be.